Evening all. Back for another one tonight. Inside Spurs Minds. One-on-one series going talking to different Spurs YouTubers to unpack their passion, their pain, and the truth behind their love for their club. Also, we'll be talking about Thomas Frank, the board, any latest developments, and the transfer window so far. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Now let's welcome in our sixth guest of the series, Brian, Tottenham on tour, one of the most passionate fans you'll see there as a Spurs YouTuber. He's smashing it. He's just reached 10K. Congratulations, mate. Thanks for joining us tonight. And how are you?
First of all, that is a banging intro. Banging intro. Second of all, don't worry about my 10K. Congratulations on your 1K. It's incredible to when you reach that milestone. Fair play to you for putting out great content. And yeah, everything is good apart from our transfer window. But apart from that, everything is tickety-boo, and I'm looking forward to doing this one.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thanks for coming on, man. And a big thank you, Brian, as well, because when I started out on YouTube, you were one of the first guys who gave me the chance to jump on with you on your channel. So I remember it, man. I remember it well. And, you know, you've supported us throughout the year. Jumped on a number of streams, just been there on the phone and stuff. So yeah, man, big thank you, man. Really helped me this season.
My pleasure, brother. My pleasure. We all help each other. We all try to do what we can, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you away from YouTube as well, buddy, and meeting you when I was back in London.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, at the protest, right?
Yep. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. What better place?
It was lovely to meet you, man. But look, big up to everyone in the chat. I'll say a few hellos in a minute. I'll get Brian's link up in the chat as well soon. Please smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, much appreciated. Get involved with your comments throughout the evening. Gonna have a cracking show tonight. So look, let's go to the chat and see who's with us. Let's see who's here. Here we go. All right, John the Fisherman. Evening to you, man. Jumping on one and onto this one. Thanks, mate. How you doing? Scott M. Damn, what an impressive get for a guest, man. The myth, the legend, of course.
His next one. Oh, Jesus.
Mark Cucurella.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason that I keep shaving my hair at the moment. I won't have the kind of hairdo Cucurella has, but as I have said, after Cody's picked it out, if I ever bump into him, I am most certainly asking for a DNA test, because I am sure there is some long-lost family connection between me and Mark Cucurella, and I'm not even joking.
A great shout. Great shout. I didn't think of that before, but
if you look at it, if you take away his hair and look at it, it's freakishly uncanny.
Oh, big up Yodo 67. How are you, man? Thank you for being here. Let's see who else is here. Big up Brian for John.
Big up John.
Evening to Kevin. Evening to you, man. Hope you're good. Big up to Ellie, back for this one as well. Ellie, how you doing? Hope you enjoyed the stream earlier. Hello again. Big up, lads, Dan and Brian. Look, guys, let's get into it. Question number one for Brian. All right, here we go. Just bear with us.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Right, these ones I've got.
As you're telling me backstage, these questions get harder and more intense the more we go on. So
yeah, kind of. But
I've got my 3 lifelines.
It's nothing that you can't deal with, Brian. You'll be fine with this one. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. So let's go to question number one. For you, a nice one to start with. If you could sum up what it feels like to support Tottenham in one sentence, what would it be?
Oh God! And you said we start easy. Gee, I'd like to phone a friend immediately. What if I could sum it up in one sentence? Oh my good God! If I could sum up, read the question again.
It's fine. It is basically, if you could sum up what it feels like to support Tottenham in one sentence, what would it be?
The biggest roller coaster of your entire life, but well worth the ride.
Yeah. Good answer, man. I mean, it's a hard one to answer. I said it would be an easy question, but
yeah, you went straight in. You went straight in the hub on there.
Maybe that was for the last guest. The last one. Look, Brian, seriously, supporting Spurs, first memories. I have heard from you before about it, but just again, and watchers who's watching, FA Cup, was it early for you? Your fond memories started off with?
Unfortunately, my first memory is losing an FA Cup final in 1987 to Coventry.
Yeah,
that is my very first televised game I can remember watching. Obviously, my dad probably had me sitting next to him when I was even younger, watching games with him. But the first real game I can remember, like it was yesterday, like the first game, unfortunately, was a 3-2 defeat to Coventry in the FA Cup final. Watching it with my late grandparents, my mum and my sister, and going over the moon when we went 1-0 up in the second minute. And then it kind of all went wrong. But then we made up for it in 91. But from when Paul Gascoigne came is when I watched Spurs religiously, just because of my age, and I got to go see them then. So I caught a few moments of Hoddle, literally a very, very few. I caught all of Gazza, and that's where it started.
And how were those years afterwards? Just thinking of the manager now. We had Venables, right? He left. Remind us, Brian, who came in next? It was
Peter Shreeves.
Peter Shreeves. Weren't the best years, were they? Those ones.
Well, at one point it's Peter Shreeves, and it was Peter Shreeves. Then it was there was a dual. Oh, it was it Peter Shreeves and Ray Clements, or there
was it
Perryman? Perryman came in with Ozzy Ardiles.
Oh yeah,
Perryman came in with Ozzy. There's been believe me, there's been lots and lots and lots and lots of Spurs managers during my lifetime. Terry Venables was the first manager I remember.
Yeah,
the very first, and played football the way Spurs want it to be played. I had my first season ticket with Ozzy, but then he got sacked and Jerry Francis came in. No, I had my season ticket with Jerry Francis. I went to pretty much every single one of Klinsmann's games though, but I went mainly, that was when I first started going to Spurs a lot with just my mates, not with my dad or anything. Big up, Psycho. But yeah, that's when I went, and then I had my season ticket for 10 years. I went home, away, everywhere before I moved to a different country. And then obviously came back to England 2008 when we won the Worthington Cup. And I was going regularly ever since then, until I obviously moved to Canada. And before Scott M says anything, yes, I do live in Canada.
Okay, so let's jump on to the next one, Brian.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, is there a single moment, good or bad, sorry, that you think defines your relationship with the club?
A certain free kick, 1991 FA Cup final. People will know that have watched me for a long time. There will never, ever, ever, ever be a player that takes the number one spot for me from Paul Gascoigne. The greatest player I've ever seen, hands down.
Still to this day, Brian?
To the day I die. To the day I die in a Spurs shirt, in my opinion. At what point, you got to remember, when Paul Gascoigne got on the football, the things that man could do with the football, single-handedly destroy teams. His energy, his skill, his passion, just everything about Paul Gascoigne. That free kick, I remember coming back from Sunday school, running in, and I actually credit myself with this, because as I ran in from Sunday school, I ran in because my dad said, come, free kick. So I ran in, and as I stopped running to watch it, Gazza started running. It was like the relay, and I passed in the baton, and then he went and took that free kick. That was just incredible. Paul Gascoigne gave you moments of brilliance, and that will always be, when anyone says your favourite moment or anything like that, it will always be Paul Gascoigne related.
And Brian, I know it's a bit off topic, but you remember when he went off to Lazio, right?
Yep.
And that Channel 4 programme.
Yep, okay. Very much so.
I bet you were on that every Sunday, right?
Every Saturday morning, mate. Every Saturday morning and Sunday they showed a game. Yeah. Every single thing. I used to watch anything Paul Gascoigne on my YouTube watch later and downloads. I think it's 53 Paul Gascoigne documentaries or clips of greatest. That's just of Paul Gascoigne. Yeah, I watched anything of him when he went to Rangers. Watched him religiously. Every place that man was, I was, and I've been lucky to meet him on a number of occasions. So he was just as lively in person. Just like I said, you remember things from when you were younger. When you're younger and you watch football in a very different way to we watch it now. You see it differently, and Paul Gascoigne is Tottenham to me. He really is. I was always going to be a fan, always, no matter what. But when you say childhood heroes, there's no one bigger, there's no one better.
Yeah, great answer, man. Listen, and it's nice to hear a positive one rather than a bad moment, because you could have taken that decision, right?
Yeah, could have.
We were just talking about Levy. We can't not talk about Levy with you here, Brian. But we'll save that to a bit later.
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's go over some. But there'll be some tricky questions coming up. But look, the next one is about Frank, right? So, given your faith in Frank, because I know you're very happy with the appointment, even if you wanted him before, I'm not sure how long, but you've always liked him. What do you think he can realistically achieve with the tools he's given by this board? What is realistic, Brian?
So, first of all, I wanted Thomas Frank from before Ange Postecoglou was appointed. If people remember that game where Harry Kane scored his free kick against Brentford in his last Premier League game, and the reason I went free kick is because it wasn't a free kick. Someone rolled it. It was a free kick, but someone rolled it to him, and he smashed it into the top corner. I was watching that game in the Coach and Horses because I wouldn't go into the stadium for obvious reasons, and we're 1-0 up. And then in that second half, Brentford destroyed us. And I just loved what Thomas Frank does and what he stands for: in-game management, changing of tactics. You can see it with pre-season, some of the things he's doing, the different training drills, the different styles of play. I honestly believe he can lead Spurs to glory. Seriously believe it. This season is going to be a big ask for him, but I do see him getting us in the top half of the table.
Yeah.
So I would say, top. So I see top six, whichever the upper end of the top half. If he is given the right tools, I have no doubt he can get us into the Champions League season after next. No doubt. I have no doubt he could take us to win an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup. I have no doubt in him. And what I think we got to add as well is his coaching stuff. For once, Tottenham have allowed a manager to bring in a vast amount of people in coaching and allowed Thomas Frank to appoint them in positions that he deems necessary. I honestly believe, like people were, like myself, when we got Pochettino, I wanted Louis van Gaal because of the experience. But then when that didn't happen and we got Pochettino, look what that happened. Yes, we didn't win a trophy. I honestly believe people will see within the next couple of years that Thomas Frank is going to be that good. That good.
What is it for you with him, Frank, Brian, about Frank? What makes him different to all these other managers we've had?
Player development.
Okay.
In-game tactics. You look at his record against the Big Six. He's won away at the Etihad. Well, let's face it, we do that quite regularly. He gets results against the Big Six. Put it this way. We have played Chelsea every single year in the Premiership since the Premiership's been open. We have won once in, I think it's 30. This will be 33 years. Thomas Frank has been there 4 times and won 3.
That's crazy. What a stat.
He's got a 75% record compared to our 1 in 33 or 1 in 32, soon to be 33. He adapts in games. I could wax lyrical about Thomas Frank. And Joe, what I love about him, Thomas Frank the man as well.
Yeah.
Thomas Frank the man. I honestly believe he will. I think, and I keep saying this, I seriously believe we have someone very, very special at our football club right now. Genuinely believe it.
Well, roll on to the next question, Brian. Which let me bring this one up because I'm going to type them out now.
Okay.
How do you reconcile being excited about a new manager whilst there's still the feeling being let down by the board? And look, let's just talk a bit, Brian, because you've seen what's going on right now on social media, YouTube. A lot of unhappy fans because of this transfer window, right? We're not.
Yep.
I mean, today it was talking about bringing a centre back in and an attacking midfielder. We need more than this, right?
Yep.
Brian, is it taking you, this whole kind of being bored and not going to deliver again, or they tease us, Brian? They do. This is what this board do. They tease us, right? They start off with kudos. You think, great, Morgan Gibbs White, that will go tits up. And then there's a 2-3 week break. Thinking, what are they? Everyone's getting frustrated. Then suddenly we have the Arsenal match, lifts spirits amongst the fan base. Then Paulinia, then the Levy interview.
Yep.
And it's just like, I don't know, Brian. Tell me how you're feeling.
Well, people will know how I feel about the board, and always will do until the day they go. But what I will say is, one thing I will say right now is, yes, we've only brought in 2 first-team players this window. You can count Takai, who's staying. I'm not counting Tel and Danso for obvious reasons. But for once, we've identified key areas we need them and gone and got very good players in those positions.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the money spent. Kudus will do exactly what we need on the right wing. And Paulinho is the exact type of number 6 you want, and will do a great job at Tottenham Hotspur. But it's either we buy young or buy unproven, and we buy too many, or we buy quality, and even though we still got time, but it's so obvious that we're lacking up front and creativity wise. And when you look at having Son gone, Madison and Kulusevski out indefinitely, how many? If I was to ask you, just have one guess, and people in the chat, how many goal contributions the 3 of them got combined last season?
Who? Which players?
Madison, Kulu, and Son.
Well, they all. I don't know exact figures, but they all kind of reached 10, 11, 12 goals each, roughly. I don't know. Brian, tell us.
So combined, last season, 67 goals and assists.
Okay, with the assists,
and they've gone. We've lost 67 goal contributions to the team for the start of next season, and if we cannot see that that's an issue as a football club, and that Frank needs help creative wise, because I think we've looked good defensively. Yes, we conceded against Newcastle and a couple against Wickham, but you can see that defence and at set pieces looks a lot better than it did this time last year.
100%.
Or at the end of the season. So you can see things happening. You can see up top the set pieces from corners. The delivery's been better. So things have got better, but there is no creativity. There is no creativity. So Spurs need to replace it. And we see that we need it. And we're still just twiddling our thumbs. We live in a modern age now where it's not, you have to have a telephone call to get everything done. You can email, WhatsApp, phone call, everything. And we're just sitting here waiting. We have got 8 days until we play PSG. We have 11 days until the Premier League kicks off. And we have 27 days of the window left for Spurs to get business done. And it needs to be creative wise. So
is this taking it for you a bit, Brian? I know you're buzzing about Frank. You're really looking forward to the season. You've got expectations for him.
Yep.
You believe in him. Obviously not in the first season, second season, challenging. Is it getting to you, Brian? Like many fans right now.
It is starting to get to me. It is starting to get me. I've tried to keep my cool. And when I thought we're getting Morgan Gibbs White, and I was delighted. And then we had £300 million come in. I really thought, do you know what, this time things might be changing. I bought in thinking, do you know what, there's so much changing, the changes at the board, the amount of staff Frank's been able to bring in. I really thought things were about to turn. I really did believe it. But silly me. And we are where we are now. What I will believe in is Frank to improve players, to make us tactically stronger, to not get beat, to not make sure our midfield isn't as wide open as the Red Sea parting, to make sure there's not just two defenders defending because the wingers have inverted. Thomas Frank will bring structure and discipline to the team. So I have my faith in Frank, and that's unwavered. But he needs help. And you don't lose matches if you don't concede, but you don't win them if you don't score. So we need creativity, and we need it quick.
Oh, Brian, look, Frank's going to improve these players, right?
Correct.
Yeah? We're going to see coaching going back in the side. There's going to be improvements. We started to see it already in the performance against Arsenal. Newcastle, it was a kind of understrength side, first half, second half. I'm not really judging that one too much. But these forward players that we have, obviously Kudos, fantastic. It's what we need. There's question marks over Solanke still. I think he'll have a better season under Frank, as long as he stays in the box and we get that delivery into him. The crosses from the left, right. He needs to be in that box. He can't be running all over the place like he did under Ange, right? So I think we'll see an improvement. How much of improvement, I don't know. Richarlison, you can't rely on. Yeah, it's clear that he plays a few games and gets injured. We can't rely on him. So that's it as our forward line. Left side, Tell, Wilson. Yeah, potential. Yeah, I like Wilson's performance against Arsenal. Yes, he'll improve throughout the season. Tell maybe. But that's not enough, Brian, is there? Who else is there in that side? Out front, we've got Johnson. We're probably not going to see him start games. He'll come in off the bench because Kudos taken his position. Where are the goals coming from, Brian? Where are the goals coming from?
So first of all, you add that and you tell me what Champions League team is going to be wary of that strike force. You mentioned Solanke. I think we haven't been able to keep him fit. He's had very, very little minutes pre-season. Very, very little. We've gone from a few years ago having desk of obviously Dele, Ericsson, Son and Kane to those players you've just mentioned. We got rid of Kane and Son, the lethalest strike force in Premier League history, and we've replaced it with Solanke and Richarlison. And it just goes to show how bad this is. I got sent this today. And this shows how bad this is. So let's see if anyone gets this question. After Ben Davies, who is the second longest serving player currently at Tottenham Hotspur?
After Ben Davies.
After Ben Davies.
What, first team player or squad?
Kevin's just got it. Kevin's just put it in the chat.
Oh, my days. No. Really?
Yeah. First team player. Austin's obviously been promoted, like Audio just said. But yeah. The longest serving first team player that hasn't been promoted, obviously, from the academy is Brian Hill.
Serious?
Yep.
That's madness. How long's he been here then? He came in under contract, right?
He came in with the Tokyo Olympics, which I believe was 2020.
He came in. No, it wasn't Conte. It was Nuno, wasn't it?
It was Nuno, yeah. It's 2020.
That's scary, and he's still here.
And at that time, I know Audio, my brother said Brandon Austin. Brandon Austin, 5 years ago, would have been... So 5 years ago, he would have been 21 and nowhere near the first team. So yeah, Brian Hill. Brian Hill is our second longest serving player after Ben Davies. But we get players out, and now people start to see why I start to get angry at certain things. Okay. Yeah, but that's it's good start, isn't it?
So how are you coping with it right now, Brian? Are you going to just kind of see this window out, wait and see what happens? There's still time to get players in, or are you going to start, speaking out more on your channel, on social media, or how you're approaching it, because you're happy about Frank, you're happy about Kudos, happy
Yeah.
about Paulinho.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to the season, but
Yeah.
the board again are not delivering what we need. They're so slow,
Let's
so slow.
Let's just say I'm cranking the temperature up, and it's getting hotter and hotter and louder and louder.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of focusing it on other things as well. Like I put a tweet out today saying, do you know what? I don't know if I can't believe how bad this sentence sounds, but we are worse at getting players out than we are getting players in. That is something which just goes to show how bad it is. We do have 27 days. We do have 27 days. Is Brian Hill better than Brian Hill? No, he's not, Scott. He's not, Scott, brother. We got 27 days. We're not talking about the wage bill enough that will be going down with Sonny's departure. And then obviously the revenue's going up with Champions League football, all the events, all the concerts, all the boxing, all the NFL, the F1, the Skywalk. So I'm keeping it calm. It is getting louder. It is getting harder. But September the 1st, I think the window ends 7 p.m. your time. So 2:01 Toronto time, September the 1st. I'm either going to be coming on. I'm either going to be proud, unfiltered, and going, well done, we've done a blinder, and having egg on my face and going, yeah, do you know what? Well played. This is what I want to do. I want to have egg on my face. This is what I want. Or I might be recording or live in
session,
or going live on the biggest rant ever. But we'll see. We'll see. I still think we get a couple of players in. It's just how quickly, what's the quality, and the most important thing, we have to get players out. Not these loans. We have to get players out.
I've got another question for you, Brian. Right, it's kind of a little bit similar. Kind of follows this theme of the board. I'm afraid we just have to talk. There's no avoiding it. Do you think your view of the board sometimes clouds your ability to enjoy the present? And this is not just you, Brian. Many fans feel like this. Or is it the board's actions that are kind of, as I just said, kind of ruining the present, right? Because we all should be looking forward to the season. We should have got our business done. We should have got rid of the players that are no longer required, or put them on the transfer list. Get the team ready. We're already in pre-season. It's nearly done. What we got Bayern Munich at the weekend, then we got the Super Cup final. It's not good enough, Brian. It's not good enough. Why this club? They've had so much time to get their stuff in order, and I don't know what they're waiting for. Again, a little bit about that interview yesterday, Brian. I just thought, was it yesterday? Well, it came out in the morning, right? It was just absolutely, shocking, weren't it? Really, we did not learn anything. Nothing. He didn't say anything's going to change or we're going to approach anything differently. He was so proud of that stadium, going on about that stadium and Gary Neville and his agenda with the FA. And there was about 5 minutes he spoke about Spurs and some interesting stuff. But Brian, try and answer that one.
Yeah, well, no, listen, I'll always be honest with this. When I was doing the week in, week out protests with many others outside the club shop, and when I was doing outside the training ground, I let it consume me. I did let it overtake me. It did become more about forcing this man out than enjoying the game. I can't say anything else. I am so, when I do things, I do it. I don't do half measures, and I will continue till the day he goes to protest and to spread awareness or whatever, promote change for Spurs or anything that's going on that will help try and pile the pressure on Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis and everyone at ENIC. There's no doubt sometimes it's clouded me. I can't be lying if I said it hadn't. It's not that I go into games saying, I want us to lose so I could be, nothing like that. I always want us to win. But there are times where I've gone to games where I'm more concerned about how loud the Levy out chants are to make sure it gets the exposure.
Yeah.
Than the game itself. Not the result, the game itself. But now under Thomas Frank, I've said to myself, no, but I've got the manager I wanted. I'm going to enjoy the football. I'm going to enjoy the football. I will always have my stance with Levy out. I will always speak up when it needs to. But I'm going to enjoy the football under Frank and go back to my first love, which is the football.
Look, Brian, you've been streaming a lot lately. I've been hearing you a bit at what you've been saying, and you are positive for this. And this is a bit like me, Brian. There's certain things I'm happy with, but when you go on to whatever social media platform, and all you see is, why aren't we not signing this player? Why are we not signing that player? We're talking left winger, attacking midfielder, another striker, a left back. That's a lot of players, right? We've already signed 5. Yeah.
Yep.
I know 2 came January, whatever, and confirmed this summer. Is it realistic that Spurs are going to sign another 3 or 4 players? It's not, is it?
Yeah. Well, put it this way. I remember in June. I'm sure all fans will. When the window opened, it was like, "Oh, the window's only just opened. There's plenty of time. Don't worry." Then you got no other team to do in business. Why should we? Which is one of the silliest comments I've ever heard in my life, because your idea of your transfers is to strengthen your team to compete with those, not, oh, we'll wait for these 2 to make a move, then we'll make a move, and, oh, no, they haven't. The whole advantage or the whole reason for the transfer window is to strengthen your teams. But like I said, in June, the fans, don't worry, the window's opened. It's only just started. We got plenty of time. The players are on holiday. It can't get done. Then it's July. Don't worry. Still got time. Windows open. Nobody else is signing. Relax. Things will get done. And here we are in August with injuries coming. No recognised number 10. 1 fit striker at the moment. And when you say that 1 fit striker is Richarlison, it's a guess of how long you can say 1 fit striker for. Then you've got no creativity. So here we go with 27 days left. And every window we go, we've been left short. Well, you leave things till the last minute and don't get things done, you're going to be in this situation. What I'd love to see Spurs do is go early, and then should something like a Maddison happen like it has, go, do you know what? This has come in. We've got to act and get number 10 in. Get your key players in early. Get them with the team, getting ready for the season. And then if something like Maddison comes up, you go, right, we have to pivot, we have to move, and we have to replace, because this could be a big one. But no, right now we've got 27 days to try and find 3 or 4 positions. But most importantly, again, we've got to get about 4, 5, 6, 7 out the door.
Who's going out the door, Brian? Solomon, Gill, yeah? Who else? It's not clear, is it?
Hill, Solomon, what's going on with Isbasuma? What's going on with Bentancur if he doesn't sign the contract? Richarlison. You could put Ben Davies in there, but Frank has said he's going to use him. And I will say, when he said leadership, if you go watch his interviews, he always has someone very, very... he has a very experienced player in the back end working and being a big influence away from the football pitch. And I think that's how he was talking about Ben Davies. I don't expect him to be part of the leadership team as in what we had with Ange Postecoglou, like for on the pitch. But we have to get these players.
Why is he? I know he's got to be a nice guy. I get that. And Frankie comes across very nice, doesn't he? He says all the right things, very professional, talking about Ben Davies. But if he thinks that's right for a left back going into next season, come on, Brian.
Yep.
I know he's got. I mean, we shouldn't be seeing Ben Davies. Ben Davies should be there. Okay, 3rd, 4th choice. Yeah, if we really need it. But he's putting him as cover for left back now. He's come out and said it.
Yeah, well, do you know what? He has said it, but I think people are reading too much into it. If you look at it, there's Destiny, and let's just say Spence. Let's just say Spence left back.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Davies. Then you've got Porro. And if you're not going to use Spence there, you've got Archie Gray or someone there.
Okay.
Then if you look at centre backs for using Ben Davies, you've got Van der Ven and Porro. Danso, Dragusin when he's back, and Ben Davies. I do not think he sees Ben Davies as a starter at all. As backup and whatever, maybe. I don't understand. I mean, could you believe it as well? Pochettino, Ben Davies was the first signing under Pochettino.
Yeah, I remember.
And he's the last man standing. If we could have all put a bet on with that peak Poch team and say the last person to leave this team, you would say Kane or Sonny, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because you would have been under the impression that Kane would never leave. But I think the Ben Davies quotes that Frank has said, and it's come out of Frank's mouth, so he has said it. I think it's being blown out of proportion. Big up, Rick. Because like we just said, I've just given the defensive options. And also, you could even say if Spence goes right back at a push, Van der Ven can go left back.
But Brian, I'm sorry, but this is where the club goes wrong. Spence, I know people like him as left back, but we need to get another left back. Challenge your doggy in that position. Cover. We're in the Champions League. We've got all these competitions. I just think it's just neglect again, Brian. I just don't think it's good enough.
I don't. It's not. But Joe, honestly, now I honestly think from what I've seen of Spence over the last half of last season or whenever he came in around November and pre-season, I actually do think he looks a lot better left back than he does right back. So if Spurs had to bring in another fullback, I would rather they went and got right back cover. So it's Porro and someone. Because Spence, to me, I mean, again, this is subjective and where people think he looks best. Where do you think Spence looks better, on the left or right, Dan?
Well, he hasn't had a good run as a right back, has he? This is the thing.
I think he's done really well at left back. Really well. He's Saka, Salah. He's played them.
He's done all right, Brian. I agree with you. He's done all right as left back, but again, there's, as you said, and we've both said, people in the chat, there's areas in this team which we urgently need, right?
Yep.
It's in that attacking line. Yeah, attacking
Correct.
line, attacking midfielder, injuries to Maddison, Kulusevski. We need something else too, at least coming in that area. And if you add those two first team players in, not potential, no kids, we could really do okay next season, I think, with Frank's coaching. And it's not going to be perfect. It's going to take a bit of time, but give Frank the best chance possible. But I just see that interview from Levy and it's just wishy-washy, nothing about this is what we're going to do. It's just not giving Frank any targets. It's just kind of, we spend money. You always spend money. You need luck. I'm sick to death of it, Brian. What did you make of that interview, man?
I went a little bit nuts on, surprisingly, on Tottenham on tour. Look, it was a 35-minute interview where he didn't start speaking about Tottenham on the football pitch until the 28th minute. If people of my age will remember back home a TV show called Look Through the Keyhole with Lloyd Grossman and David Frost, and they used to go around a famous person's house and go back to the studio and go, who could live in a house like this? Well, it was basically the stadium version of that. Yeah. Who could play in a stadium like this? Showing Gary Neville talking about the concrete that we all know about, then multi-ownership clubs, and then PSR and FF, when everyone wanted to hear the hard questions about wages, about players. And when he did start speaking about football, it was utter nonsense. I could blow it to pieces, but once again, there are people that have fallen for the PR spin that comes out like this, like the one that we're going to remember the end of season notes that we're going to use this for a springboard for success, the Europa League win, and that we need to win the Premier League. We want to win the Champions League. Yeah. This is the moment we do things. He comes out and says these things. Well, listen, I want to hear him talk more. But I want him to speak seriously and take questions that we want answers to. Not pre-scripted, selected and vetted questions. The next fans forum, I'd love Change for Spurs to be there. Like the co-founders. I would love, not me, because obviously I'm not a member or season ticket holder and obviously not living there, but I would love people to be able to ask him questions without being malicious or rude or insultive or abusive, to literally ask him questions that we want to hear about the football club. Not about the joint venture that we have with the brewery. Not showing me Harry Kane's box that you still keep as a shrine during that interview. Let me go. Shall I show you what Harry Kane's box used to look like?
That's just
yes. Yeah, that's what I want to see and know about. How and Gary Neville was always going to ask the questions about lower league football and the money in football. And fair play, but when you got Daniel Levy for 35 minutes to do an interview, Spurs fans want to hear about Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Not seeing 50 Cent's stage being erected. So I was very, very.
We're not surprised though, Brian, aren't we? We all got wind of it, right, the night before. Right?
Yep.
We all got wind of it. And all of us were just shaking our heads thinking, what's he going to come out and say? And it was even worse than I thought it would be. Don't you think, Brian? It was actually worse. It was, 5 minutes speaking about anything we want to hear. It's shambles. I don't get that interview. And there's another one coming out, isn't there, Brian? I think I heard Simon Jordan today. He said that he did one with him a year ago. I don't know what good that is, a year ago interview.
Well, it was one that was going to come out at the end of last season, but they quickly pulled it when things started getting really bad. It might have even been earlier than end of the season. Thanks, Kev. But then apparently it's the PR spin. Listen, one thing I will say there, this is the kind of impact Vinay's having fan engagement wise. Fan engagement, this is what he has been known to do. Make it more open and make it more communication between club and fans. But there is coming out and telling us what's going on and answering things that we want to hear. And then there's just come out and outright lying into our faces. And a lot of it is lip service, hot air. And that's all that. How many more times do we need to hear it?
Brian, did you see the tweet from Change for Tottenham? Because they were putting it out there. And there was very mixed opinions about that interview.
Well, it's what we are as a fan base. It's what we are. We will never, ever agree on this. We will never, ever, ever, ever agree on this. And the thing is, there's people like myself that have been saying this for years on YouTube and beforehand. And October the 26th will be 18 years that I've been Levy out. 18 years. And when you've been watching this and seeing this happen for 18 years, you kind of just know it's going to come. But then you got fans who are like, oh, I was just going over there. I'm actually thinking he's not good. Oh, he's just done this interview and he's just said all the things I want to hear and it's all going to happen. It's each to their own. I just know the way this story ends. I know how this story ends every time when he does an interview. And I'll give you all a spoiler alert. When Daniel Levy's lips move like this, he's lying. Unless he's talking about business and properties and numbers and FFP and PSR. If he's talking football, he's lying.
Oh, it was questioned, Brian. He was like, what's happened the last 25 years? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Again, he was asked, wasn't he, what's the greatest achievement in your ownership? Yeah, building this stadium, not winning the Europa League. And if anyone sat there and believed when he said this was about winning the trophy, not the money, and I didn't remember, it took me a few days to remember that it would be Champions League. Yeah, sure, Daniel. Sure.
Right, let's move away from that for a bit, Brian.
Yeah, let's move away from my nemesis.
I'm sure we'll dip in and out. We can't, it's hard not to. Okay. So, what do you think Levy's biggest failure is over the last 5-10 years? Not 25 years, 5-10 years. For you, what is the biggest moment, what really got you? And people in the chat as well, let us know what you think. What was the biggest thing that he's messed up on? And there's many.
Pochettino.
Okay.
Pochettino, 500 days without buying anyone. Another thing he said, when we moved to Wembley, the money for the stadium's here. This is the money for transfers here. It won't interfere with each other. Step forward a 500 plus day a transfer embargo on ourselves. If there was any man that deserved to have a checkbook and say, do you know what? What do you want? We're going to do everything we can to get it for you. it's Mauricio Pochettino. He needed to freshen that squad up. You could see it. And then when you go, what do you expect when you go a whole season without signing anyone? No new blood, no fresh faces.
He still
no
made Champions League, Brian, didn't he?
He still did it, but still no. Still no. Last season of the lane, 19 games at home, 17 wins, 2 draws. Only lost that league because Chelsea went on that 15 game unbeaten like with Conte non-stop. If there was a man that deserved, and with Paul Mitchell, if there was a manager that needed support and pretty much showed this is what I can get you without backing, just imagine what I can do with it, it's definitely Pochettino. For me, Pochettino. Also, the £150 million war chest we're going to get and only spend 100 million of it on 7 players. There's so many things I could say, but Pochettino did not deserve 500 days plus without transfer.
Yeah, good answer. Let's go to the chat. Let's see what people said in the chat. Just scroll down a bit. Never trust Levy. Big up, psycho teacher. Kane, Levy has to be one of the most polarizing people in the. I mean, I heard some people say, "Oh, we talk well." I don't know. I don't know. There's some crazy stuff I've seen about it. Oh, feeling a bit sorry for him as well. I heard. I don't understand it.
Yep.
Yeah, not stepping down.
There you go. That's the great one. That clip is mine. I go with John. I like to retract my vote and go with the fisherman.
Yeah, brilliant. Scott M, 500 days was it for me? That was when I become Levy out. Jamie, bring Jamie. Evening to you, Jamie. Not backing managers 100%. Not what they need. Yeah.
Yep.
Psycho teacher. Levy didn't back Poch when we were on the verge of winning something, and the watches before the champions. Kevin says consistently backing managers to a level it's comfortable with, but never having the balls to take the next step. They don't want it, Brian. This is the thing. Levy, the board, Enid, they do not want to truly challenge, and that's it. It's obvious. It's evidence is there. They never go all out. They always tease us. Maybe 1 or 2 signings, decent signings. Everyone else potential, maybes. I don't. But as a fan base, winning that Europa League is given the club some breathing space, isn't it? Because we were so crying out for that cup, and Frank coming in as well now, and then it's another manager. You've got to give him time. So again, Levy has kind of got out of jail a bit, isn't he? Because them protests last season were really ramping up, weren't they, Brian?
Yep, they were. I mean, you got to remember as well, before the stadium, we needed the stadium for Champions League football to get the revenue and Champions League football to attract the players and pay the big wages. We got Champions League football regularly with Poch and was in the new stadium. Yes, we had to pay the debts off. Didn't buy one Champions League quality player, not one. We need the extra events to come in because then it's extra revenue and every penny comes back into the football club. Everything, all the lies, all the excuses that he made for not spending big or not being bold, well, they're all being answered now. We have Champions League football. We're in the stadium. This will be the season that we've had the record amount of events in that stadium.
Yep.
And still, there's an excuse. We have to be ready for FFP. Got ready for FFP. Then, no, we've got to be aligned with PSR. We get aligned with PSR. And every other club finds loopholes to beat it. And we still have the biggest advantage to use, but don't use it.
That's it. It's Brian. Just go to Chris's comment. Problem is, by all accounts, Poch didn't want any additions in those windows. I don't know why Pleat would say that if it wasn't true.
Do you know that whenever I get asked this question, or I see this question, I have a very, very simple answer for it. When AVB had the bail money, AVB wanted Matinho, he wanted the Hulk, he wanted the only other people he wanted from the 7 was Christian Eriksen, and there was one more, and I can't remember which one it was. Baldini and Daniel Levy said, "We buy the players, you coach them and make them better."
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the premise.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we have Paul Mitchell and Pochettino, who is going flying high and ready to go for the league, all of a sudden, if Pochettino says, no, I don't want that player, it's not, oh no, we buy the players, you coach them now. It's, okay, you don't want a player, we won't spend the money. So it can't be both ways. It can't be one manager, listen, you're the coach, we bring them in, you do what you make them better players, and you deal with it. But then when a manager's flying and needs those players, then you say, oh, okay, we'll listen to you now. We don't need players. Okay, we won't do it. So I get what people are saying, and I believe that it is true. Poch turned players down. Don't know which players, but it's amazing how when it came to not wanting players, wanting different players. No. We get them in. You coach them. But then when a manager says, no, we don't need to spend money. Okay, we'll listen to you.
Okay, right. So I'm going to ask you another question, Brian. And it kind of flips it a little bit. So what's the one thing the board could do right now? And in the chat as well, please answer this. What's the one thing the board could do right now that would begin to rebuild your trust in them? I know it's so difficult. I know there's a lot they need to do. But if you just look at this window specifically, is there anything that could kind of, because we've got 2 first-team players in, which is good, right? We got 2. Better than last summer. It's only one more, but you're hoping that the next 2 come in, or 1, or whoever it is, are again going to be first team starters.
What they could do to regain my trust is piss off.
Yeah.
And I will trust them to build any property they want anywhere in the world and make it a great success. There's nothing they can do. No. That's Daniel Levy to completely, and I do, because remember, he steps away and doesn't get involved with transfers, apart from January when he got on a plane to Munich to try and complete the transfer hotel. So he doesn't get involved with transfers, apart from when he flies over to try and get it and get rejected. If he was to step, and I mean step away, and I mean like a contract was signed that he has literally 0, and I mean 0 to do with football. 0. Even hiring and firing, 0. And you had a proper football guy in that he would speak to, that would repair some damage, but fractionally, there's nothing he could do unless for the next 4 seasons, the manager was heavily backed with the players he wants. And I don't mean the elite £100 million plus players. I mean with the players that he wants. And I don't expect the manager to get every single one of them, but there's too much water under the bridge. There would need to be 4 or 5 years of consistency for me to even attempt to think about, okay, maybe they've changed.
Okay, right. Let's skip that one, really, because there's not much. I have to ask the question because you have to look at it from more angles. Yeah, because we have been, we've been talking what we've been talking about. So, look, let's go back to about Spurs, a bit more about Spurs players. And look, and you've kind of answered it already, but give us a different answer with this, Brian, to one that you've already given.
Yep.
Which Spurs player do you think best represents what you love in a footballer? And don't, obviously not Paul Gascoigne, because we know that it's your favourite player. Who would be the next one? And it might not even be one; it could be 2 or 3 players that you've really admired over the years playing for the club.
Well, put it this way, I'll give a good few from my time. My second favourite Spurs player of all time, is Jan Vertonghen. I absolutely adore him. I think what I loved about him, there's certain players that come to your football club that understand this football club and what it is to play for them and get the bond with the fans. And Jan Vertonghen was, for me, just superb. His longevity, his commitment, his style of defending. I loved him. Like he's a player that I would love to come back in any capacity at Tottenham, whether it be on the coaching staff, the board, wherever he would go. Jan Vertonghen, I would welcome back. I honestly, I adore him. Inspirational player. My lifetime is Gary Mabbott, with everything he's had to go through in his career. with his diabetes, with other things he's had to endure. And that is a man that loved this football club. Look, your David Ginolas, your Gareth Bales, your Chrissy Waddles. I was a huge fan of Chris Waddle, massive fan of his. That we've had some great. I haven't even mentioned that. Kevin's just mentioned Darren Anderson. Darren Anderson was the very first player whose name and number, when it was name and numbers. I had Darren Anderson's number and name on the back of every single Spurs shirt, like I did Jan Vertonghen. I love Darren Anderson. I think if he hadn't been injured as much as he was, we'd be talking about a Premier League great.
Yeah, he did have a lot of injuries, didn't he? Darren Anderson called sick note, weren't he?
Yeah, his crossing of the football and eye for a pass was unbelievable. His partnership with Teddy Sheringham, and then I have to mention this one because I think people of my age again will understand the day we signed Jurgen Klinsmann. The day we signed Jurgen Klinsmann, to this day, there hasn't been another day like it. Maybe Rafa.
Yeah, maybe, but Jurgen Klinsmann was, yeah.
And I was at Sheffield Wednesday when he scored his header. I was at Everton, or home to Everton when he scored his bicycle kick. It was when I was going to all that was the season, my first away games. That season, I had an incredible time. But Jurgen Klinsmann, who everyone thought was going to come in, be a cheater, a diver. But remember, he was one of the first superstars to come to the Premier League.
How did he get him? How did Sugar get him? That was madness.
There's actually a program on Sky on YouTube that shows how Alan Sugar did it, and you know the story with Teddy Sheringham. So Ozzy Ardiles was trying to get Diego Maradona to the football club,
yeah,
and he told Teddy Sheringham, "We're trying to get Diego Maradona here. I'm pulling all the stops out to use my connections." And then Ozzy said no to it because of everything he was going through with the cocaine and everything.
Yeah.
And Teddy was a bit disappointed. He said, no, hold up. We got another striker coming. And this one is coming. It's done. And it's Jurgen Klinsmann. Mate, the guy was a goal machine.
Yeah.
The guy is one of the most lethal strikers. And you got to remember, this guy was one of the top, I'd say, 3 strikers in world football at the time. World football. And came to Tottenham, and at the time, we had a 12-point deduction, which went down to 6 and then 0. We were out of the FA Cup, which we then got to the semi-final, and we were never meant to be competing for a Premier League title back then, nowhere near. And he absolutely was one of the best players in the Premier League, or probably the best player in the Premier League that year. But everyone would not realise just how good he was. The goals he was so lethal.
He was part of the famous 5, weren't he?
He was. Well, the good thing, I got 8 Dumitrescu on the back of one of the shirts. I had Anderson on the home, Dumitrescu on the away shirt, but I got Dumitrescu.
I loved him, man. He was a great.
I got him. Because I got the shirt for, I can't remember when, but then I went to Spurs shop and got it done. And the very next day, Jerry Francis sent him out on loan.
Oh.
But he was Gica Popescu was the one. Gica Popescu was sensational. But that
that goal he scored. Remember that chip?
Yeah, I mean, he scored that chip, but then I was also when Gica Popescu scored the winner in a 1-0 North London derby.
Yeah.
Gica Popescu scored against Newcastle with a Teddy Sheringham hat-trick. I was at the Ronnie Rosenthal hat-trick at Southampton that season. But Jurgen Klinsmann was a sight for sore eyes and just an incredible striker, And
then he came back, Brian. He left, didn't he?
He did. He came back
and then he came back and saved us relegation.
Correct, under Christian Gross, of all bloody people. He came back. What a player. What a player. And the last genuine world-class superstar at the peak of his powers that this football club was signed. And that was 31 years ago.
Look, there's some great shouts in the chat as well. Ben Hoddle, Gaza, Modric. This thing with Spurs, right? We've had some fantastic players, but never not a good enough squad. And this is it, Brian, isn't it? We've had some fantastic first 11s. Potts, you could say, Redknapp, Yol, go back further. But we just never had the squad to compete in all the competitions. I don't know. I think until Levy leaves, there's not much we can really do.
Correct.
Until there's investment, we just have to. It's annoying. It's frustrating. We've had enough, but we just have to get on with it. And yeah, it's not good enough. But what can we do? I'm doing my own protest, Brian. Anyway, I know you are. I'm doing my own protest. I don't put any money into this club.
Yep.
I'm not doing it. They just don't. They don't want it. They don't want success. They're charged so much for the world to go and watch them. So much money. How much is it now, Brian, to go out on a day out? Was it close to what, 200 quid?
Mate, I wouldn't know. I haven't been into the stadium since the Conte season, and I won't.
Imagine I won't go kids, Brian. You take a couple of kids with you. You go with your missus. Or whatever. You talk and your food. Oh, it's just
you're talking a lot. But the thing is, when I thought we were getting Morgan Gibbs-White and having Thomas Frank, I was seriously considering maybe lifting my ban and going into the stadium. I was really because I go to away games when I get the chance when I'm home. If someone's got a spare ticket, I'll go to an away game because that's going to support the lads. Money goes to I'll go to those and see the lads, but I won't step foot in the stadium. It got to the point that even when I was in the stadium and people were like, "Brian, can I buy you a drink?" I was like, "Nope," because even though it'd be like a £5 or whatever, you spent your money on me that's going to him. I was like, "Nope." But I was with Thomas Frank there. I was like, do I start going to the stadium but spend nothing in the club shop or anything in the stadium? And I wobbled, but then I was like, nope. I won't step foot until there is drastic change of that football club. I will not step. I haven't put a single penny into that football club. I said on the we signed of that window, that season that we signed no one. As the summer window went, I said, if we don't sign anyone this summer, that's it. That's it. And I've stuck to it. Not a single penny.
Yeah, and that's all we can do, isn't it, really? That's all we can do right now. Another question for you, Brian. We spoke when I did a stream yesterday, we spoke about it. Yeah, and you've been hearing it a lot amongst the fan base, and Levy obviously spoke about it, in his interview, 17, 18 semi-finals, finals, we've come close, we haven't got it over the line.
Yep.
Brian, your take on all of that, on all those finals and, specifically looking at the finals maybe, that we didn't get them over the line. And is that on Levy? Is that on the manager? What is your take on that, Brian?
I always say when the players cross the white line and they're on that pitch, the style of the performance and the result has absolutely nothing to do with Daniel Levy. Nothing. But the very fact some of those players are able to wear that shirt and cross that white line has everything to do with Daniel Levy. We have lost semi-finals and finals because of poor tactical decisions, not having the squad in depth, and sometimes the other team just being better.
We've played some good teams, Brian, better teams than us in finals, haven't we?
But we've lost 5-1 to Portsmouth in a semi-final. I think it was 5-1 or 4-1. The Blackburn fight, there have been that we should have won, and I won't put that. I won't put that on Levy because he doesn't pick the team. He doesn't pick the team. He doesn't say do this, do that. But he does have to take some responsibility. Like I give him credit for winning the Europa League. I'll give credit where credit's due. He stuck with things. He did it. But now you need to build on that like he said he wanted to, and he doesn't. So it's very hard for me to... I try to be down the kind of like with results on the pitch and everything. I try to be down the middle as much as I can. He does need to take some responsibility for it, but it's poor management, poor decision making, poor form from the players, and the caliber of the squad.
Combination of things, basically.
Yeah.
Look, there's clearly a couple of them. Clearly, we should have. The Portsmouth one stands out right under Redknapp. Yeah, the Blackburn one, Glenn Hoddle.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there was that painful one, that real painful. I think it was semi-final against Chelsea, FA
I
Cup
was there.
under Redknapp, 11-12. And
Oh, that one. I was thinking with Poch.
5-1. That one. Remember that one? 11-12. Where we, Redknapp, we had a good side there, and Chelsea just done us, didn't we? Horrible day.
I was there for the Poch 4-2 with Antonio Conte when they.
That's
I think it was they lost the FA Cup final to United, but I was there for the 4-2 and we were brilliant in that game, absolutely brilliant. So were Chelsea. Then you had, I think, the year after we lost 1-0 to Manchester or 2-1 to Manchester United in the FA Cup semi-final. They have been poor teams that just haven't turned up on the day. But the what's it called? The culture comes from the top, and the winning mentality to do better and say, right, we were here, let's go to there. But that's the bit we stumble on.
But Brian, we've had winners, right? Conte, Mourinho again didn't make it in these cup competitions, right? I know Mourinho got to the final, got sacked. Yeah, that's just shocking, right? But if you look at the Europa League, we got knocked out under Mourinho. We got knocked out in the cups under Conte. Conte didn't put anything into those cups, did he? Because he said it was all about top four. Remember this, yeah? All about top four. And then that's what he was doing at the time, right? When he got sacked, we were in top four, right? So he put all his energy into that because he knew he didn't have the squad. He knew he wasn't given the players. Yeah.
Well,
so
Mourinho wanted to rest players in the Southampton game before the Carabao Cup final, but was told no, not whilst top four is a possibility. And the biggest thing about it with Mourinho and Conte is Daniel Levy had wanted Conte for Mourinho for 20 years, and for 20 years had seen that he stays for 3 years, spends hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of millions, wins 1 or 2 leagues back to back, first and second season, all goes wrong third season, he pisses off. Well, what did you think was going to happen at Spurs when he came? Wasn't given the 100. Do you think there's been a place at any other football club where Jose Mourinho has said, go get me Matt Doherty and Joe Rodon?
It's just shocking.
Get me Carlos Vinicius. He gets the big players on the big money that demand big transfer fees. Absolutely terrorizes the league by having pure quality there. Then it goes Pete Tong. Conte was brought in to try and get a medal over the line because he always wins, but wasn't given what he needs to win. And the same with Antonio Conte. It was never going to work. Never, ever, ever going to work. If you've had 2 managers that win everywhere they go, but they do it because they assemble expensive squads, why'd you bring them?
And look, and when Levy answered that question, right, he said he just deflected, didn't he? Don't know. No, yeah. I don't make decisions, any footballing decisions. I'm not in control of lineups, systems. But he said something to Mourinho, though, didn't you? About
exactly.
Yeah. So it is what it is. So difficult question. But it comes up a lot, that one about 17, 18 semi-finals, finals. I mean, do you remember the last time in the FA Cup? It hasn't been. I think it was that we actually reached a semi-final or quarter-final in the FA Cup. It's been about 5-6 years, Brian.
I think the last one was Manchester United.
When was
I think the last semi-final was Manchester United, which was the year that, because I came back home on the day of their wedding, when Harry wed Meghan. That was the last time I think Spurs were in an FA Cup semi-final.
That's how long. It's not good enough, is it?
Look, when we won it in 1991 and were the first team ever to win it 8 times, if someone had said to any football fan, let alone a Spurs fan, in 1991, guess what? Spurs won't be in an FA Cup final, let alone win it. And the year's 2025, not a single football fan would believe you. Not even an Arsenal fan. They'd be like, no, Spurs will be in the final within 34 years. There is every single fan would say it because that was our cup, and now Arsenal have won it 14 times, and we have not been at an FA Cup final for 34 years. We were in 3 in the 80s, 3 finals. in the 80s, obviously one in the 90s. And
99 wasn't there then. This is 1999 Worthington.
Yep. Carabao Cup final. We haven't been in it since Pochettino's first season, if I'm right. Well, and that was 2015.
No, it was under Mason, wasn't it? Mason.
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry, my bad. I was stupid. COVID. Yeah, sorry, we were just talking about that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. God, how did I forget that? We were just talking about it.
We've done more better in the League Cup over the years. Got semi-finals, finals. Redknapp, that penalty shootout against United.
That would have been back to back
against Chelsea 2-0.
Yep.
Yeah, in the final when they marked Kane out the game. What was that player who plays for West Ham? Zuma, was it Zuma? Wasn't it?
Zuma, yeah.
Yeah, played him as defensive midfielder. But that was Poch's first season. There's the Champions League final.
Yep.
Yeah. Very painful. But
it was.
But we finally won one.
And let's hope. I honestly think we can win the FA Cup this year. I say it every year. I say it every year just because I love that cup. It's never lost it. It's never lost its magic for me. So I will always say every year we're going to win the FA Cup. Yeah, it's 1,400.
Yeah.
Really 14, you know what? My first season ticket, my very first season ticket in the 95-96 season, Chris Armstrong's first season at Tottenham Hotspur, I sat on the court in block 23 of the Paxton, which was where the corner flag was, where it curls into the East Stand. My first season ticket was £150. £150.
Man,
I mean, we hear our dads go, it cost threepence or a shilling or whatever the old currency my dad used to say. I can't remember. And he used to be able to get a portion of chips and a bus home for like 2 and 6 or whatever the thing he said. Well, it evolves. It was £150, my first season ticket. And now, like Chris just said, it's 1,400. Was it Chris that said it?
Yeah, Chris, yeah.
Yeah, Chris has said that £1,420. And that's not even the most expensive one. The H Club,
So, Brian, 2 more questions, and then we'll go to the chat and finish off the night. So, what would success look like for you under Thomas Frank, not just this season? I know you spoke about it earlier at the beginning of the stream, but over the next 2 to 3 years. Now, I think if we qualify for the Europa League in this season, you know, and then I'll put that as a target for Frank to win it, you know, in season 2.
I would say I think he wins a trophy in the 2 years. I'm hoping it's the FA. Well, obviously, I want it to be the Premier League or Champions League, but it's not. So I will say the FA Cup. As I said, before we got Paulinho and Kudus in, I said whoever the manager is, Thomas Frank included, Ange included, let's get back into the top 8. Let's start rebuilding. The way I look at where we are with Thomas Frank now is where we were with Martin Jol. And Martin Jol started something. We built up and up and up and up, and now it's all come crashing down. And we need to build up again. And I think Thomas Frank will do it. I think... again, you see, I mean, if we get, let's just say we get top 6 this year and win an FA Cup. Has the takeover talk come on? Is it still just Nick and Levy? Is Levy still there? Is it investments come in? Because if we get let's just say we get top 6 next season and there is investment, I think Thomas Frank gets us into top 4 in his second season.
Do you really think that?
Yeah. If there's investment.
If there's investment, only if there's investment. Yeah.
Not with Levy, not with Levy and Enoch and co, because they'll be like, well, we need Champions League football, and then Thomas Frank will go, well, we had Champions League football, and he didn't back me, but now we have got it or haven't got it. You want Champions League football, but you won't back me. But if we get investment, serious investment, whether it be, let's just say the naming rights that we heard that was going to happen this year and the 300 million we were so-called having to say. To get if Frank got it next season, I would seriously pick us to go in the top 4.
Yeah, if we get investment, yeah. If we bring in those top players, that's what we need.
Put it this way,
need another level.
Chelsea's obviously we know what Chelsea spent. Their manager came from Leicester. Unheard of, apart from being Pep's boss, understudy. He got them Champions League football, won the Conference League, won the Club World Cup. Obviously, that's not the finances of that is big. But if managers are backed properly or given the caliber or quality they need, they will succeed. And
It's
Frank,
simple. It's so simple, Brian, isn't it? This is what frustrates the hell out of us. Give Frank top players. We all know the positions. He must know the positions that we need. Get them in. Move on. Yes, we can't get it all done in one window. I get that. But next 2-3 windows, give Frank what he needs. No more potentials. Don't want to see any more kids. We've got enough. And look how many we're sending away on loan, Brian.
Yeah.
6.
I mean, Dan, the thing is, I don't even mind people like Takai coming in. If you're going to sign if you're going to get a Paulinho and a Kudus, and then bring in a youngster. If you go get, I'm just going to spitball 2 names. So let's just say we did go get Eze. Let's just say, I know Angus is in here, and he's sent me a link that some crap source has said Crystal Palace and Eze are almost done, but it really is a crap source, and I mean a crap source. But let's just say we got Eze in and Eze and Grealish. Just 2 names comes to my head. One go left wing, one go. Our season's revitalised.
100%.
Our season's like, Jesus Christ, here we go. With that back line, and then you're like, here we go. And that's what we need to do. It needs to be. And then if you get 2 players like that, I don't mind going and getting another 5, 10, 15 million pound player, just one for the future. Because you brought 4 in for the now. That it's when we just do it where we buy 3 or 4, 5 youngsters and then one for right here, right now. It's the wrong way round.
Yeah. Oh, Brian. Yeah, it is so frustrating. Good answer though. Good answer. I like. For me, just what I was saying is that, say if we did qualify for Europa League, I'll be putting that as a target for Frank in his second season. Wouldn't you, Brian? As well, I know.
Say that again. What have you got on the target? Sorry,
yeah. Europa League, right? The Europa League.
Yeah, I mean, I believe we get Europa League this year. Like league position-wise, we'll qualify for it.
Is there any reason why we couldn't go and win it on that second season?
No,
right? Ange did it, yeah, right. But for FA Cup, of course, we would love to win the FA Cup. It's harder to win, right? Isn't it? It's harder to win, yeah. It's harder to win.
Always.
League Cup, you know, it's quite a short run to it. You can get to a final, semi-final. So that's maybe, I don't know. We'll have to hope, right? We'll see. We'll see how Frank juggles the squad. You know, Champions League matches, Premier League Cups. Yep. You know, let's see how he gets on with it. One more question tonight, and then we'll just go to the chat. What keeps you coming back every season? I know you don't go to the games, but you watch them, talk about them, channel, whatever. Hope? Is it loyalty? Or is it just madness?
All three. I've had it where I've lost jobs because of Tottenham. When I've told them I've tried to book holidays in advance as soon as the fixture list comes out for Spurs Arsenal, and I book holiday off and they've told me nearer the time, sorry, your holiday didn't go through. I was like, okay, fine. Well, I'll be calling the sick line. I won't be in. And they're like, no, you need. And like, now you've told us. I've literally said, hi, I told you. Spurs Arsenal, I don't come into work. See you later. Bye. I'll see you Monday. Because don't care. I've lost. I had a fiance before my beautiful, wonderful wife who asked me to choose between going to a family function or a Spurs Arsenal game. And if I chose the Spurs Arsenal game, our engagement was off. I told her to pack her bags and be out in 4 hours.
Shit. Jesus.
But Spurs, apart from your family, your football club is your first love. The first thing you fall madly, deeply in love with that isn't your mum, your dad, your grandparents, blah, blah, blah. And as my dad always says, friends come and go, jobs come and go, family come and go, partners come. Everything in your life will come and go. Apart from one thing that will be with you from the moment you support that team to your very last breath. There will be one thing. Ilana knows when the fixture list comes out, she's like, right, what 2 days do I know we're doing nothing because of Spurs Arsenal? My life revolves around, during the season, it revolves around Spurs. She hated it when we lived in England, because if we're playing on a Saturday at 5 o'clock, it's like, well, we're not going out tonight, because if we lose, I'm going to be pissed off. If we win, I'm going to be wanting to watch the replays, the interviews. Like, it's a massive part of my life, and it always will be. It always will be. And being part of Toronto Spurs, going to the Scotland Yard, no matter what happens, no matter how bad times get or how good they get, I will always, always, always love my Tottenham Hotspur and be there supporting them. But it does take, especially being a recovering alcoholic as well, it gives me an extra, brownie points for actually being able to do it while supporting Spurs. It really does try and get you. There is so much that Spurs has meant to me, done for me. They are. It's just everything. Spurs is everything.
Yeah, it's an obsession, isn't it? And I don't know about you, Brian, but I feel I get more obsessed year on year on. It's a massive distraction as well from life, isn't it? You know,
Yep.
Pressures on life. You know, it's a focus. You know, we need to meet up with friends, watch the games. You know, all of that as well. You know, chatting to people about it. You know, it's just a massive part of our lives, right? Supporting Spurs, and unfortunately, not all people's partners understand that. You know, they struggle with it. And then it's difficult, right? Being married to a football supporter, or having a partner who's a football supporter.
Yep.
Because it's so much, isn't there? If you can just be on your phone, watching interviews, chatting about it, go on YouTube, watching the replays, game after game after game.
Yep.
There's more games these times. It's you have to control it at times. You know, pick your ones, pick your matches.
Well, the good thing here, though, is for me, and obviously for Scott M and people that live on this side of the pond, the games, let's just say we play Saturday and it's the early kickoff. It's at 7:30 in the morning for me. My wife's still sleeping in bed. I can watch the game in peace, or go to the Scotland Yard and she's like, no, I'm still in bed, whatever. Come back and I get the whole day with her. You got to remember, the late kickoffs for you are like 8 p.m. or 3 in the afternoon for me. They finish, I can still go out with my wife in the evening or do something with it. It doesn't eat in.
It's different, yeah.
All the times. But what I will say, which isn't the best, is during the winter, making your way to the pub for a 7:30 kickoff and leaving here at like 6 a.m., waking up at 5 a.m. in minus 30 degrees. And getting to the...
How close is the pub to you, mate? How close?
It's depending if I'm getting an Uber down there or public transport. If it's public transport and the trains, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, bang, I'm there. And then just the walk there. But when it's heavy snow, anyway, so you got all that. But this is the thing: when people think I'm being negative or talk whatever because I want better for the football club, it's because I've travelled up and down the country for years and years. I've watched them. I'm 46 now. I've been watching them properly since 88. Like religiously since 88. I get up at silly o'clock in the morning. I do all this stuff on YouTube and social media. It's all for the love of the football club. I want it to be the best it can be. That's it. It's insane. But like I said, Spurs is everything to me. My wife, I know you got to remember as well, here in North America, my wife, when she was over there, she doesn't get the rivalry. She doesn't get how tribal it is, because you got to remember, over here, being such a big country, here she supports the Toronto Maple Leafs. That is the only hockey team in the NHL. You've got the Toronto Raptors. It's the only team, like in Ontario, of the NBA. You got the Toronto Blue Jays. It's the only baseball team. There is only one, like Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough. They're one city towns. Over here, all the sports, or my part of it, it's not like New York Giants, New York Jets, and all that. There is just one team. So the whole or a majority of the team or the people that were born here in Ontario support all the Toronto teams. Unless you're Montreal or Ottawa for hockey. But then all you got is the Maple Leafs, the Raptors, so they don't get the rivalry, but she's starting to. Only taken 11 years.
Yeah. Okay, Brian, any more points for the evening? Anyone in the chat? Is there anything you see in there? Anything in the chat, Brian? Any good points that we can bring up? Thank you, everybody, for watching the stream tonight and all your comments. Please smash the likes button if you haven't. Please subscribe to Brian and myself. If you haven't, that would be great. Been a really enjoyable stream, Brian.
Oh, mate, I've loved it. I've loved it. It's been great being on your channel again, buddy.
Chilled, pretty chilled, right? I know
we've
had a bit of a rant about Levy and that, but it's unavoidable. That is the biggest problem at the club.
So you're
all of them.
That should be the headline. Shock horror. There was a Levy rant on this show when I was on it. Who would have thought?
You can't avoid it, but you know we've talked about other stuff as well. And look, I think we should let's just sign off for tonight. Yeah, just leave it there.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, thanks again, everyone, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Brian, when you going live next, mate?
Definitely on Friday. I'm going to try and say this without trying to keep a straight face. If there's any transfer news of Spurs bringing players in, then we'll probably do something. If not, definitely Friday. Maybe even Thursday before the or after the Bayern Munich game. Probably after the Bayern Munich game, we'll do something.
When's the Bayern Munich game? Saturday or the Sunday?
It's on Bayern Munich's on Thursday.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on Thursday. 5:30 kickoff for you. Oh, so we do something before. We'll do something before on Thursday. So yeah, 12:30 kickoff.
Okay.
On the Levy Play thing.
Yeah.
On Levy Play, you can watch the Bayern Munich game.
Yeah, you should be able to get a link for that. Yeah, they'll be showing it in other countries, that game.
I would imagine so. Actually, yeah, you're probably right. You could probably get it via Bayern or something. But yeah, we'll probably do something on Thursday before that, but definitely back on Friday.
And yeah, just quickly, Brian, thoughts on the Bayern match? What are you thinking about lineups? Are you thinking that Frank is going to start playing his best available 11 against Bayern, especially if maybe 50, 60 minutes of the game?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, what can he do? What can he do creative-wise and up top? Defence, he can start putting it together. Paulinho, the holding midfield. So the jigsaw's starting to come together. It's that part there. And if I don't see us bringing anyone in before Thursday that will be eligible to play on Thursday. So seeing what he can think of and how he can create against a team like Bayern Munich is going to be interesting to see. Just a bit of defensive shape. And again, it's what, do you know what? Most importantly, don't pick up any injuries.
Well,
most importantly,
we've got injured players before the season even started. It's not great, is it? It's really, when does that happen? Even before. Well, can you think back, Brian, of a season where we've had this many injuries before the start of the season? I can't. Obviously, there's always a couple, but
some are still knocks from last season that have just flared up. But it's not been great. It's not been great, and all this travelling and everything. I'm hoping, Scott and I are hoping that they fly out to this neck of the woods next summer and have an America's tour. But yeah, the injuries need to wake up, especially when you look at Solanke and Richarlison, and Will Langshire's gone out on loan, so he's out. So we need to make sure Solanke's fit, but we need better. We need better. We need creativity. We need goals for the 67 we've lost. And we'll see, but creativity is going to be interesting against Bayern, that's for sure. Yeah,
but I wonder what that team will look like. Yeah, we will see on Thursday. We will see. Look, let's sign off for the night, Brian. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Everybody in the chat, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And as always, come on, you Spurs. And
as always, Levy out.
Levy out. Take care, guys. Thank you.